Discouragement is the anaesthetic the devil uses on a person just before he reaches in and carves out his heart. In today's installment of Care for the Soul, I want to encourage us and remind us of an incredibly well-known scripture and principle, which is that God will not be mocked. We will reap what we sow. I want to encourage us as we think back to the conference and as we look towards the end of this year and the beginning of 2022 to focus on seeds. We don't have full control over the timeline or the outcome or the harvest or the results, but we do have control over what we do with the seeds that are in our hands. We don't have control over the seeds that are in someone else's hands, but we do have control over the seeds that are in our own hands. And I want to encourage you to keep on sowing. Think of Dory from Finding Nemo, where she sings about just continuing to swim.
Hey, Mr. Grumpy Gills. When life gets you down, you know what you gotta do?
I don't want to know what you gotta do.
Just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, swimming, swimming. What do? We swim, swim.
Well, I want to encourage you to keep on sowing, 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 sowing. Keep on sowing, sowing what you know to sow. I'm standing in front of what we call our legacy corner here at the church, which is simply an area where we communicate information relating to missions and social justice. And we have this tree behind us because I feel like it's so accurately and thoroughly represents. It's such a powerful metaphor of, as we keep on sowing the right seeds, it does grow into something that is big and broader and life-giving and that can cast shade on others. But the only trees that we see are the trees that someone else planted a seed for some time ago. And they didn't know necessarily how long it would take, but they were diligent and faithful in the sowing of the seed. So as we think back to the conference and to forming kingdom culture and values, as we think of trying to enlarge our leadership in the way that we manage our time and our energy, or as Trevor Hudson spoke about, slowing down to be present with God and to nurture that intimacy and identity and security in Him, and all the many other nuggets that were shared, can I encourage you to just keep sowing? Verse 9 reminds us that God that if we do not grow weary in doing good, then at the right time, in due season, we will reap a harvest. We don't know what the due season is. We don't know exactly the timeline. But if we don't grow weary, or I think another way of putting it is if we don't get discouraged, if we don't give up sowing. Graham Evans over the years has often commented on how so often people are experiencing the harvest of negative choices, bad seed, but how we are able to actually sow new seed, but we need to outlast and outwait the old harvest. So maybe you feel like you are experiencing a harvest right now of poor choices, whether it's in your marriage, your church, your family, your health. Can I encourage you not to grow weary in sowing new seeds, outlast the harvest, and let's trust God. He won't be mocked. We will reap what we sow.